Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to set up the sand casting flask. We're just going to use a real basic pendant here that is flat. And so the first thing you want to do is you want to look at your flask. It's got the two halves. You've got a negative side and you have a positive side. So we want to start with the positive side. So what we're going to do is this is going to go down. Now I like to have like a heavy block to put it against, just like that. So we'll take a little bit of the clay and we'll push it in here. And I like to take, this is called a tart tamper, and I like to push it in there nice and tight, just like that. Then you take a little more. Once I get more in there, I like to use a mandrel. It's got some weight behind it. I can control it really well, better than a hammer. If you like to use a hammer, that's up to you. So we want to get this so it's above the edge of the flask. Okay, that's nice and pounded in there well. Then you take something with a flat edge and you're going to scrape the excess off the top here, just like that. I kind of clean it off near the where the cone's going to go for the pouring area. So then what you do is you take, I put the talc in a sock, and again you don't want to breathe this. Kind of blow it off. Then you want to take your pattern. I like to have a bit of a sprue. I like the metal to be able to travel down, so for a piece like this, I would put it like that, and then I would take the tart tamper again, since it's flat, and I would just push it in. And you want to push it in so that it is probably even a little more than halfway. Once you have that, talc it again, just like that. Take your before that, clean off this, make sure there's no clay in the channel here. And then take and put that on, just like that. Now you're going to want to take a little bit of the clay. You can either use a tart tamper, you could use your mandrel and just use it to push down. I don't like to start pounding right away. I like to push this part down. I think as you do it on your own, you're going to find little things that you like to do. Doesn't have to be the way I do it. There, so it's nice and packed. Then we'll take our straight edge again, and we'll just scrape it off just like that. Then once you have that, and you have I like to set it down on something, and you want to pull it straight apart. So now you can see we have a dynamite impression right there. And so at this point, and the way I designed this is with this round hole now, you can just take your thumb or a finger. Thumb works great though. And you can create the funnel where you're going to pour your metal down. And again, I like to clean that off right there, just like that. So we'll go with that for now. Then we have this side, and we just want to, we can kind of free this up a little bit. You can take a pocket knife, just kind of free it up, and you can probably turn it over and pop it out. So now we got a really nice impression on this side. So again, I'm just going to take my thumb create this really nice, smooth funnel for pouring the metal down. Now let's see, I got to grab something else here. Now what I like to do is I don't like to have sharp edges, because when you're pouring molten metal, sometimes if it hits a sharp edge it'll break it off. So I like to take and pack it down where there's like a corner. So at this point, this side is done. It's nice and smooth. There's no little bits of sand on there. No sand that's going to get pushed down into your mold. And it's also clean around that channel. So that side is all ready. Then on this side, I like to do the same thing and take away that little corner that the metal could break off and pack it down just like that. Again, make sure there's no clay here that's going to get in the way of the two halves going together. Now the next thing, and I should have been prepared, is if you take like a toothpick, the rounded kind, if I can get it out of here. They all wanted to come through, so alright. Pays to be prepared. I like to take and really, don't go all the way to your piece, just really take away the clay at the point where the air goes out, but not all the way to the piece. And so I find that it doesn't take much for air and gases to release, but the metal's not going to travel all the way over to here, so these can be bigger. It's easier to do it this way. And then, if I would have had a credit card, that would have been great, but I didn't, so this zip tie will work. So we just want to create just a small little channel here to vent the air and the gases. So you want to break through into the mold just enough so that everything will travel through there. Air and gases, that's all you want coming out of there. So that is all there is to it. I mean, that was super simple. These two halves are done. And so now you want to look, make sure there's no little bits of sand in there, because if you get little bits of sand, it's going to look like you have porosity in your piece. So make it as smooth and clean as possible. Fit the two halves together, and this is ready now to have the metal poured in there. And we'll do that in a separate video. Unfortunately, my phone doesn't have enough space, so we got to stop this now. But I think you should have learned quite a bit on that. All right. Thank you.